Okay then, so we're going to continue with the B-25 Mitchell, and starting on the step 7, which is the engine build. So I'm going to do 2 of these, and well, there's not much to say, let's just go and put bits together.
But I think that looks pretty good, like such. Put the work in the frame, Phil. Let's see here. There is a peg. So we will find. I did. Okay. So let us do this. Let us put a little bit of interesting, curious world, and I think so. That's kind of the way you look at. It's interesting when you look at this of sort of putting my own spin on this, and I think you should with these kits. But I'll tell you, the advantage of them is some incredible detail. Those to do some scene work on. I've got all kinds of little bits and glued all these down, and you've got your AK Plasterworks. It's got paint and glue in it, and it's pre-painted. Now
So here's a quick basic assembly of the engine with its cowlings. So it appears to fit in like that, and I'm looking at that. I don't know if it's. So it doesn't appear to. There doesn't appear to be a way to firmly fit the engine itself into there. So that's like floating in there. These 3 pieces all have positive fixtures. I need to clean it. Let's get the other one. These are the pieces all have positive fixtures. For example, you've got little. Come on. You've got this little tab there, which lines up with this little gap there, so that goes in there like so. You've got a little pin there that fits into the little hole just under the air scoop there, so that all lines up properly ish. So I'm guessing that these bits here are supposed to line up, even though they don't properly. So there's that. And then the engine itself, you can just put it in after the fact if you want. So it stays in there. So I'm thinking, because there's a little sort of tab thing inside there. There's that bit there. So I'm wondering if that aligns, if that's supposed to align with the a gap in cylinders, and maybe these little marks here tell you which way up the engine is, because it doesn't show that on the diagram. So let's because it does appear to fit like that, but then put everything else in, and yeah, so well, push it in and press it down, and that appears to be fitting. So I'll get these bits in there like so. Get this air scoopy thing. Technical term, air scooper thing on the top there. So that's like a little engine. So I think I shall paint this outside bit first before I assemble the whole thing together, because it's clearly visible inside there. So in fact, actually, I think I could assemble all that together. Let me see. Find a bit of tape here. Let's hold all that together. So if we can get that put together as one unit, can I get the engine in without too much hassle? Something to hold it would be a good idea. So that's that together. You can is it the right way up at all? So that will go in without too much hassle. All the way in there. And then to bring it out, the propeller itself goes through like so, and it'll fix a little pin connector there, and there you go. Let's see how well this do I want the blades turning or not? It's a very close fit. So I wonder if I should that works. Just using the airbrush to blow it. It's the little things, isn't it? Anyway, so I'm just thinking, if there's room in the Nacelle, maybe shall I put an electric motor in there to drive it? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so we've got that stage, so I think I shall go ahead and glue these all these bits together, clean it up, paint it, and then insert the engine and propeller and all that. Okay, so that's the plan. Let's see if it works. Okay, so these engine things, part of the engine assembly, they have these little intakes at the top. I've gone to the trouble of cutting out the holes of the intakes to open them up all the way through, because it was just well, they weren't opened up before, so I took the time to drill them out, cut them out, sand them out, and yeah, it took a little time, but quite rewarding for me anyways. Yeah, so just another thing I did that I didn't have to, but I wanted to. Smart model, I'll do what I want. Anyway, moving on.
I found that to be a nicer lens than the Elmar, I've got to be honest. Can be said that's actually better than the Leica and former Soviet cameras. Viewfinder for every different focal length you use. Generally, certainly with these early ones anyway, these Barnett style ones, generally you will need, the market began to go down, SLRs began to take over, and the rangefinders began to use those and compare them to this very early 1932 Leica, or indeed to any of these former Soviet rangefinders, and see how the latest thing compares. I would be more than happy to do so. I don't suppose they will, but if you'd like to, I'm here and ready and waiting. Please get in touch. All right, now there are lots of others. There's the Fed 2, that's a nice long base one. There's the Zorki 2, which I think I featured on a review probably a couple of years ago. Actually, that camera was on here. Dummy 3, and then there are the perennial favourites, the Fed 4, of which I've got one here, and the Zorki 4. Now, all the cameras I've mentioned so far, that is the Zorki and Fed 1, the Zorki and Fed 2, the Zorki and Fed 3, and the Zorki and Fed 4 all have the same lens mount, that's the L, as the Summitar 50mm f2 optics, and you can use all of them on all of these rangefinder cameras. This is the Fed 4 for between 20 and 30 pounds if you're lucky. Certainly under 40 pounds you'll get a nice one of these, and it's a great camera because it's got a light meter and conk out over time. I've only found that to be true on one that so I think the rumours are unfounded. It's a nice looking camera. It's got some kind of, I don't know, former Soviet chic. It's got a bit so persisted over the years, and you know, judges find and taken care with as well. That's the Fed 4. The Zorki 4, this is a very stylish looking camera. I love the look of this camera. This has a lever wind and a top speed of 1.
Okay then, on to the big bits. We're going to section 8. We're going to put some wings together. I'll leave the cowlings out for the time. These are engine nacelles, gondolas, somebody described them as, landing gear, etc. I'll just put the wings together, do some cleanup on those things, and see how we go. Well, at first glance the dry fit is nice and clean. I think that's the space there for the light. Let's go with it. So fairly clean fit. So yeah, just clean up the sprue bits. Some marks there. Sand those off, I think. Too much. Overdone it on the glue a little bit, but yeah, everything's gone together okay. Dripping glue, right, so that will do for now. I want to get it held down together in places. Just over here, so it's good. It's a bit too strong. So while the back end seems fine, it's lined up fairly well. Not as well as I'd like, but good enough. The front end has a bit of an overlap around about it. So looks like there's going to be a lot of sanding going on across the front here when it's all dried. Anyway, I'll leave that as it is and get on with the next one. And that is done. Let that all dry and set up and continue.
It's just delicious, and it just makes the most stunning images. I shot this wide open as much as I could, and it worked beautifully for me time after time after time. I did not get one error in focusing, and it's well worth it. This is a camera that will work reliably for you time after time after time.
Okay, so I spotted an error, or problem for me anyway, in these parts. So these are engine holder nacelle parts. So these two are numbered as 26 and 27, and the instructions does say to put 26 and 27 together on one side, 30 and 31 on the other. Unfortunately, 26 and 27 are, well, identical opposites. That is, they don't fit together. Simple as that. So I think they're supposed to fit together with their 30 and 31. So yeah, I'm just gonna wheel it, because normally I like to make sure I know what the parts are and so on. But this time I've got no choice but to just take all the parts apart and attempt a dry fit to make sure that they fit. So this one's got, well, there's a bit of sanding there. So this one's got pins. This one's got locator pins. This half has locator pins, and the other half, I'll find it, doesn't. It's got locator holes. So the locator pins holes. So I'm guessing these fit together like so. Does the other one fit on here as well? No, it doesn't. Yeah, so they will only fit one part to the other like so. and it also says to insert the landing gear at this stage. And it's one of those really fiddly fits where it only fits together around half of the side, and you got a big open side there, which I've got to guess which side it goes. So that fits into there, so that will fit in. Time for a bit of tape. Have we got any handy? Yes, I do. So big issues already. Massive gaps. Well, massive gap on that side. So I think that will require more than just a bit of filler. But does it fit all the way around? Yes, it does actually. I think a bit. So it's a bit of an awkward fit. Goes all the way around. Let's have a look. Let's find an engine nacelle. Engine. So yeah, not the best fit. No locators, so you've got to just line it up by eye and hope it fits. Something tells me that I'm going to need to do more sanding and filling around this area here. So yeah, so it's going to be a tricky one, so I'll work on that while you wait, and see you in a few moments. Okay then, so a quick assembly there, or dry fit of the these parts with the landing gear, and it fits together better. It's easier to get together, so except when it falls apart. So what I'm going to do now is to so I'm going to glue these parts together. Do I attach them to the wings now? I might do, I might not. Don't know how I feel. But maybe the process I'm going to use is to glue that into there, fit this together, glue it all up, and then let it dry and do some cleanup, because there is going to be some cleanup. Not sure how well it's fitting together. Go on there, there you go. I think I may need to shave off a little bit of the leg end, because it's not holding it together. It's a bit too wide for the part, is what I'm trying to say. And a close look, don't know if you can actually see down there going, but because of a slight mismatch in the molds, there is a bit of a line, and it's just maybe just keeping it apart like a little fraction of a millimeter. Not a lot, but just enough to annoy you. So I'm going to do that now. There's a bit of cleanup in here that I missed. So basically just flattening these edges a little bit. Let's try that again. So which way around? It goes that way. Yep, that's just about right. Almost exactly right. So I'll take that little wing and glue this all up. Got to use the black stuff this time, mainly because it just makes it easy to see that there is glue there and you're not putting too much stuff in there. So give it a gentle squeeze together, make sure that it's all properly lined up. That'll do. Oops, more. That's a lot more than I needed. That's enough, I think. Okay, stop messing with it. Quick. Not bad. Okay then. I'll leave that on there, let it dry up a bit. So as I tested before last time, massive gap there, but nothing, a little piece of probably use some of this extruded plastic stretch sprue to fill it. We'll worry about that later. Okay then, so time to put some tail surfaces on. So now I've done a little bit of sanding of the surface. I think I'm going to just what I'm going to do really is to put this main part onto the vehicle and put these on later. I'm going to sand a bit more. I'm not too thrilled with the panel lines you got on here because they're raised and they make life a bit, well, they look a bit, yeah, they just look a bit rubbish in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Other opinions are out there, but yeah, I'm going to probably sand these down a bit so that they're not so brutal, and paint around it. Anyway, let's go. So maybe I think I'm just going to do a dry fit at the moment. It's also really to test that I've got enough weight on the nose. I've been putting in a bit of extra weight in the nose, and right now, as you can see over there, the nose is taped onto the front, and the wings are on. It's falling apart right now. Ignore that. Anyway, it is working fine. So there's that. Got the tail parts. I'll leave those for the time being. So let's see if this fits. First of all, it does. Do a little bit of I think it's a bit high. It's in there like that. Yes, just a little bit higher. So I'm just going to sand down this surface here, because when it says high, it's also a bit rounded in there. It's not square. So I'm going to give this area a bit of a going over with the sanding stick and see how we go. That's done the trick nicely, I think. Probably just a little more, just remove a few more fractions of a millimeter. Is the word microns we're looking for? See how it fits at the back as well, because I'm not. It's not too bad. So it's mainly this fit there, across the front there, that I'm concerned about. The back end is going to be other bits sticking out, so it's not going to be too apparent. Let's see that it is straight. It's straight enough. So yeah, so just a little bit more touch up, clean up around the back edge. Yeah, it's going to need a bit more fiddling around the back there. Let's see. There you go. So still a massive gap across the front there, but that's what filler is for. It appears to fit alright. It's in fairly positively, it's quite firm, it's not sloshing around. So yeah, that's a very good fit. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and I'm not going to stick it down right now because I'm still trying to figure out the nose weight issue. So I'll drop the place the wings on. The wings are sticking on, well, are fitting on okay. Oops, everything's gone apart now. Well, that one is staying on okay. This is falling apart. I've managed to apply a bit of tape to just hold it in there, but so as you can see, it's not tipping. I'll put the tail fin on. It's definitely tipping, so I need a bit more weight up front there. So how much weight to find out? I can use this little thing, professional mini scale, digital scale professional dash mini. Does it even work? Yes, it does. There we go. So I think so. The memory card is full. So anyway, I've weighed this up. And let's start again. There's still going to be a bit of weight to be added to the front. You've got the engines to go on the front there. So I'm just weighing up how much extra weight I need. So including the tail fins, that's 7.5 grams. Yeah, okay, but then if you minus the weight of the engine cowlings, that's like let's round it up to 5 grams. So really I'll need another 5 grams up front on the nose to clean it up, but you know, do I have that kind of weight? Yes, I do, I think. Probably can't see that, but it says 1.8 grams right now for the engine. Take that off. That's 0. So, oops. So I can figure out exactly how many of these I need to go ahead. So I need to add at least that lot to weigh it up. That's 5 grams right there. So I've got to figure out where to put all those into the nose there. So that'll fill that up, and there's a bit of space under there, so I'll drop some more in there as well. Oops, take that away. Anyway, let's continue. I just did a testing the fit of this Nacelle gear engine bit. So when I looked how it fit at the top, it does stick out a bit there, so it's not. So it's sticking out a bit too much. So what I've done, I've taken some of that stretch sprue, stuck it under there to raise it up a bit, to give a bit of distance, and it's worked a little bit, but it's still sticking out a bit more. So I'll either put on a thicker piece or work something else out. Yeah, I'll carry on. So I'll put a bit more on this side as well, see if it can make a difference. Yeah, it's a work in progress, so let's continue. So anyway, I've put another piece of stretch sprue just on there. Come on, I know it's grey, but you can focus on it. There you go. So just as you can see, there and there, so it's a bit thicker than the first piece I tried. And in putting it down, it's if I put it so that the front end is correctly fitted in, then the rest of it seems okay. So such it won't stay So there is now a massive gap under there where the drawing's up, which wasn't there before, but at least the back end is okay. It's almost perfect, or near perfect. So I'm going to carefully, tentatively stick this down, and then when it's all nice and dried, chuck a bit of filler in the edges there, in the corners, and so here we go. I'm going to check the other wing just to see if that's the same. So this wing, the fit across the back there is almost perfect, it's just right. So this one's okay to go. So I can see over that, looking at this side here, there is a gap, and it is an uneven gap, which is probably why sanding it down will make it fit nicer there, but it'll mean that this back end here won't be smooth across the top there. So I think I'll put that on, I'll glue that down as it is, and fill the gaps in later. So it's the same thing at the front here, there's a little gap. It's only a small gap, so it says there's lots of filler required here, more than I hoped, but yeah, I guess it's part of the course for the less highly engineered kits. Anyway, let's carry on and see how we get on.